the Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, the Justice Department sues the state of Maine over its policy on transgender athletes.
Plus, we'll hear from a Guilford family that's struggling to recover after fire destroyed their home.
And we'll hear why the Bucksport Library may be forced to cut back on services. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and our pet of the week coming up later on in the broadcast. We're always wondering, was it going to be like a little doggy or a kitty or guinea pig or something? So
I know you don't really love guinea pigs, though.
I'm not a big fan, but I'm glad they're around, though. So we'll meet the pet of the week coming up later on. But first, a check of the forecast. Looking like a pretty nice day around here.
Yeah, right. Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
Hey, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. We have a small crowd advisory that will be expiring this morning as wave heights start to relax. Of course, we'll monitor those in case there is an extension yet again. But meanwhile, on land, not looking too bad this morning. Some clouds passing through, a little bit of moisture as well. Whatever has developed is getting out of here, and we have a nice day on the way. We'll get some sunshine going, maybe a few passing clouds for the afternoon. This is as this wave of energy continues to track to the south and east right about in here, a little bit more further off towards the north. Rest of the northeast looking pretty good. Partly cloudy today, becoming mostly clear later on tonight, and tomorrow looking like a nice start. But as for now, some gusty winds to keep an eye on that can reach up to 25 to even 30 miles per hour. Starting to relax overnight, maybe a few gusts up to 25 miles per hour as we head towards tomorrow. So for today, lower 50s, not bad, partly cloudy and windy, and that west wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. Later on tonight, we have upper 20s, mostly clear, a pretty simple forecast. The wind's backing off temporarily out of the west at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, low 60s. That will feel even better. Increasing clouds, breezy, with that west wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period. Sunshine to start, some clouds for the afternoon. Temperatures warming into the 50s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Greg and Emma.
Thank you, Devin. We'll get a look at that full 5-day a little later on. First up this morning, the U.S. Border Patrol says it arrested a Salvadorian national in Portland, Maine on April 15th. The Border Patrol claims the man is illegally present in the United States and affiliated with the MS-13 gang. According to a press release, agents under special assignment from the Border Patrol's anti-smuggling unit identified the 27-year-old El Salvadorian man, discovered his suspected gang affiliations, and then identified his location in Portland, where he was arrested. Border Patrol has not released the identity of the man they arrested. He's currently detained, pending his removal proceedings, and will be turned over to ICE enforcement and removal operations.
Well, the Justice Department says it's taking the state of Maine to court for violating federal anti-discrimination laws. The announcement came during a press conference Wednesday morning. Susan Farley has the details and reactions.
While the lawsuit wasn't unexpected, it did make the Trump administration's promises to pursue alleged violations official.
The Department of Justice is announcing a civil lawsuit against the Maine Department of Education.
It's the latest volley in the ongoing controversy over Title IX between the Trump administration and the Mills administration.
The state of Maine is discriminating against women by failing to protect women in women's sports. Pretty basic stuff. This is a violation of Title IX. The Department of Justice will not sit by when women are discriminated against in sports. This is about sports. This is also about these young women's personal safety.
Governor Janet Mills issued a statement saying, quote, "Today is the latest expected salvo in an unprecedented campaign to pressure Maine to ignore the Constitution and abandon the rule of law. This matter has never been about the school sports or the protection of women and girls, as has been claimed. It is about states' rights and defending the rule of law against a federal government bent on imposing its will instead of upholding the law." Federal Judge Woodcock's ruling last Friday awarding the state a temporary restraining order reinforces our position that the federal government has been acting unlawfully. For nearly 2 months, Maine has endured recriminations, the federal government that targeted hungry school children, hardworking fishermen, senior citizens, new parents, and countless Maine people. We have been subject to politically motivated investigations that opened and closed without discussion, leaving little doubt that their outcomes were predetermined, end quote. During her press conference, A.G. Bondi defended the need for the lawsuit.
We have exhausted every other remedy. We tried to get Maine to comply. We don't like standing up here and filing lawsuits. We want to get states to comply with us. That's what this is about.
It's unfortunate that we have to be here today because Governor Mills and legislative Democrats, along with the Maine Principals Association, continue to persist in discriminating against Maine women and girls. They are out of alignment with 2/3 of Mainers who believe that biological males have no place in girls' sports.
Maine's Attorney General Aaron Frey also issued a statement saying, quote, while the president issued an executive order that reflects his own interpretation of the law, anyone with the most basic understanding of American civics understands the president does not create law nor interpret law. We look forward to representing the state of Maine and defending the rule of law.
We walk into sports expecting to have a level playing field and to walk into the state championship to see a biological male there and to lose to a biological male, that's betrayal. And so I am extremely grateful to A.G. Bondi for standing up for us.
At the press conference, Bondi said Maine may be the first state to be facing a lawsuit, but they are looking at other states for possible violations of Title IX. Back to you.
On Wednesday, Maine's Department of Health and Human Services Commissioner Sarah Gagne-Holmes testified before the Appropriations and Financial Affairs Committee about how much her department has lost in federal funding due to the Trump administration's retaliation over alleged Title IX violations. According to Gagne-Holmes, Maine DHHS has lost approximately $91 million in federal funding used to contract 70 vendors that assisted state agencies. Gagne-Holmes says the elimination of that funding forced Maine DHHS to issue stop work orders to their vendors, and in the case of the Maine CDC, to reevaluate and prioritize the work they were doing in order to complete it with limited staff.
So the workload, fewer people, because we no longer have the contracted employees, fewer people will be taking on more of the work to the degree that we can. We are reprioritizing how we approach our work because some of these are things that we can't stop doing for the health, safety, and welfare of the people of Maine.
In other news this morning, a Waterville man has pleaded guilty to manslaughter. 21-year-old Tyler Quirian pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the death of 22-year-old Justin Arola as part of a plea deal with the state of Maine. Quirian will continue to be held without bail, and his sentencing date will be set within the next 60 days. According to prosecutors, on the morning of February 19th, Quirian shot Arola multiple times at close range with a 9mm handgun.
A fire in Guilford on Tuesday night displaced 6 people and damaged a home that's been in the same family for generations. Our Alex Schley has more.
A late-night kitchen fire broke out Tuesday at the Layton family home in Guilford, which was built nearly 80 years ago by Vance Layton's parents.
My mother and father actually built the house themselves. My father pretty much did all the work. They had a carpenter help with the foundation and everything, and I was 2 years old when we moved in.
After his parents passed away 5 years ago, Vance took ownership of the home.
And the house was empty for a year, and it's not good to not have anyone live in the house.
Since he and his wife still lived in New Hampshire, his son Thomas took over the property.
They was looking for a place, so they was willing to move up.
Thomas and his family made the move to Maine, living in the same house where his grandparents once raised their 4 kids. And that is where they've called home, until Tuesday night when a late-night snack caused the kitchen to go up in flames.
Me and my son grabbed any bucket we had. The trash can was one of them, and we just kept pouring.
In the dark, trying to find my way. Get a garden hose.
He got the eaves outside with the hose, and we kept putting water.
Once on the scene, Guilford firefighters, along with help from neighboring crews, were able to quickly contain the fire. But the damage was already done. Thomas says the home is unlivable, and his family of 6 is now scattered, staying with various family and friends. Jessica works as a nurse, while Thomas stays home with their 2-year-old son. Living paycheck to paycheck, the family is now reaching out to their community for support. For information on how you can help, visit our website, foxbangor.com. In Guilford, I'm Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A public hearing was held on Wednesday to consider whether to ban cell phones in Maine classrooms. Lawmakers are considering a pair of bills aimed at reducing distractions during the school day. The Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs held the public hearing yesterday.
Opponents argue there are better alternatives than removing phones altogether from students, but others say schools should be a place of sanctuary where students can focus on learning both academically and socially. Further work sessions on those bills are expected in the future.
All right, the time now is 8:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, we'll meet the new head of St. Joseph Hospital in Bangor and how he plans to help navigate the facility through rough waters facing all hospitals.
But first, another check of that weather forecast. A nice day ahead today, partly cloudy skies with windy conditions, highs around 51 degrees. Mostly clear tonight with lows dropping down to the upper 20s. Tomorrow, clouds move back in with highs near 60. We'll be right back.
Taking the time to savor Thomas's crunchy yet soft bagels.
Thanks, Tom.
It's Tom, actually.
Right, Tom.
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 You doing that on purpose?
Tam.
Tam.
How have we got to Tam? Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
American-made Home Goods, a locally owned gift shop offering only American-made items. Manufactured right here in the USA. At AMHG Works, we have books written by Maine authors, jewelry, wall decor, puzzles, and many other Maine-themed items. Plus, a great selection of dog toys, treats, and accessories. Come check out everything we have to offer. We look forward to seeing you.
Sun up to sundown. There's no rest until harvest. Together, we're unstoppable. Together, we're united. United Ag and Turf, your local John Deere dealer.
Your favorite restaurants were half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Located on Wilson Street in Brewer, Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, where you'll find only the best sushi, Asian favorites, and specialty crafted cocktails that will satisfy anyone. Try tatami seating for an immersive experience. Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, bringing delicious traditions to you.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
Here's the tale of the farmer man, searching for love all across the land. He's a farmer man. He needs someone to share his life. Find a woman to be his loving wife. He's a farmer man.
Some girls are trying to touch Matt's avocados. Didn't like it.
Farmer Wants a Wife. All new Thursdays on Fox and watch anytime on Hulu.
St. Joseph Healthcare recently welcomed the hospital's newest president. Our Grace Blanchard sat down with him to learn how he plans to help the hospital navigate the pressures that providers across the state and country are facing.
It's a challenging time for healthcare systems as hospitals across the state are cutting services or shutting down. But the new president of St. Joseph Healthcare says he does not foresee that happening to this Bangor hospital.
We need every single health organization in the area to be sustainable. That's hugely important.
Greg LaFrancois stepped into the role as president of St. Joseph Healthcare on April 1st after resigning from his previous position as president of Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center last October.
I know a lot of the community leaders, and it really looked like an opportunity to collaborate across all of the providers to improve the health in this region.
While challenges facing the industry such as financial deficits and low patient volume are forcing other healthcare centers to cut staff and services, LaFrancois says the hospital has set itself apart by prioritizing their mission and values.
When you lose sight of what your core mission is and you jump into areas where maybe are on the fringe and you don't necessarily belong in, and then you hit choppy waters, that's when you're stuck and you've got to discontinue services.
However, they are not immune to the pressures providers are facing, as he says the rising costs of supplies and access to staff are proving to be increasingly challenging.
Healthcare is extremely expensive and getting more so, and it is hard to ask our employers to pay more for care because they are strapped as well.
His top priority is navigating the hospital and their patients through these challenging times while preserving the hospital's culture.
We are looking for opportunities to improve health, and that's not just for those who have resources, it's for everyone in our community, and that's what we live for.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Now the news, the Buck Memorial Library is more than just the books on its wooden shelves, but lately they've been dealing with financial constraints and could have to cut back on programming. Our Doug Banks has those details from Bucksport.
Buck Memorial Library has prominently stood along Main Street in Bucksport since 1887.
I would describe it as a gem.
During the past 4 years, Library Director Lisa Ladd says they've expanded their programming and patron base.
We do a little bit of everything.
Since the library is a nonprofit, they rely on grants, fundraising, and annual municipal funding from Bucksport, Orland, and Verona Island. They also rely on federal funds distributed through the Maine State Library from the Institute of Museum and Library Services to maintain their growth too. However, those federal funds are now frozen.
Those federal funds have not been released for 2025.
According to Ladd, Buck Memorial Library is underfunded based on the population they serve. Between Bucksport, Orland, and Verona Island, the library serves around 7,000 people, and Ladd says they receive $4.32 per capita, when they should be getting anywhere between $15 and $18. In hopes of obtaining more municipal support, Ladd reached out to Prospect and Stockton Springs because she says people from there utilize the library.
So far it's been radio silence.
Recently, the town of Verona Island struck down a proposed $1,500 increase in its annual contribution to the library. On Thursday, Ladd will stand before Bucksport's Town Council and propose a $5,000 increase in the town's $30,000 annual contribution.
I'm hoping for the best, but preparing that the best might not be the outcome that I get.
If adequate funding isn't found, Ladd says they might have to cut back on programming, hours, or dip into their endowment. Unfortunately, she says they've already begun doing that.
I know the impact that I'm having and that my volunteers and my trustees have on this community, and I just want to give people the best experience that I can.
In Bucksport, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, the time now is 8:17. After the break, a local country club has been sold. We'll hear what changes could be in store with the new owners and what will likely change or what will likely stay the same.
We'll have that story and your 5-day forecast coming up after the break.
The circus is coming! The circus is coming!
Don't miss this exciting new show featuring motocross, aerial acts, chair balancing, unicycling, high wire, Zuzu acrobats, and an all-new ringmaster. The Anna Shrine Circus, April 25th, 26th, and 27th at the Bangor Cross Insurance Center.
Grandpa!
Make Easter moments magical with the Gold Bunny from Lindt.
Stop waiting for online orders. Rock Auto Parts ship in a few hours, 24 hours a day. On the carrier you choose, with tracking at each step.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
Sunday on Fox. The Kings of the Lanes lay everything on the line for a major.
Tuck it! He's got it! Shoot, there it is! Belmo adds to his legacy. Anthony Simonson, he's done it.
This is where names become legends and legends become champions.
He's the greatest!
The PBA, Sunday on Fox.
circus is coming! The circus is coming!
Don't miss this exciting new show featuring motocross, aerial acts, chair balancing, unicycling, high wire, Zuzu acrobats, and an all-new ringmaster. The Anna Shrine Circus, April 25th, 26th, and 27th at the Bangor Cross Insurance Center.
The Penobscot Valley Country Club was sold to the owners of the Lucerne Golf Club on Tuesday afternoon. According to Mike Webb, general manager of both golf courses, it was a few-month process to purchase the Orono course. He says Matt and Nora Kirtland purchased the Lucerne Golf Club back in 2023 and took ownership of Penobscot Valley for a price not being shared at this time.
This golf course was very, very well respected, and they, you know, the members expect that of this golf course, and that's what we need to bring it back to.
Now, despite a change in ownership and a heightened attention to detail on improving the course, Webb says many things will stay the same, including membership rates, public rates, the club's PGA professional, and more. He also says all memberships with Penobscot Valley Country Club will be honored in the future.
Well, that's good.
It's good news.
Yeah.
It's a fresh start for Penobscot Valley Golf Club.
It is such a beautiful area.
Yeah.
Just the view they have alone is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's in a really great place. I know college students visit there a
Sure.
lot, and also it's just a great draw for the community as well. So I'm glad somebody's taking care of it.
I've been to a bunch of big events there over the years too, so it's nice to see they'll have this fresh start and maybe make some improvements as well.
Yeah, good for them. All right, the time now is 8:21.
Let's get a full look at that weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. On this Thursday, a small craft advisory will be expiring at 8 a.m. as wave heights look to improve. Of course, we'll watch in case they do extend those again, and they might because wave heights are still a little bit active at this point. 3-foot wave heights right about in here, but further off towards the north and east, still a little bit active, and higher further out towards sea at around 7 to 8 feet, according to the buoys at this time. On land, a little bit of moisture passing through this morning, and some clouds as well, tracking to the south and east. Overall today, we'll be under a partly cloudy sky, so a good amount of sunshine that we get to look forward to. But here's that energy that's tracking northeast that's been bringing us to clouds and maybe a little bit of moisture. We'll have some dry weather before a little bit more action off towards the west starts to move in our direction. But for now, we're looking quiet moving forward outside of some gusty winds. So partly cloudy for us today, becoming mostly clear later on tonight, so things look rather quiet. And then for tomorrow, not looking too bad. We'll have increasing clouds, winds picking up to about 25 miles per hour. Maybe some late day to the evening showers. I think for the day Friday, we're good. It's by Friday evening and parts of Saturday, we'll have opportunities for rain showers on the way. Better opportunities by Saturday morning for some rain that will be passing through. Of course, we'll be watching gusty winds that can reach up to about 25 to 30 miles per hour at times. We'll back off a bit later on tonight. But then as we head towards tomorrow, here we go again. More gusty winds up to around 20 to even 25 miles per hour. Temperatures recently have been up and down. So yesterday we only hit 50 degrees. That's actually 4 degrees below normal. We've had more days below normal than not, but we'll work on that rather soon. Average high temperature is 54 degrees. We'll be below normal again in the lower 50s. And then we really warm up. Lower 60s as we head towards your Friday, and then upper 60s for your Saturday. So a couple of days that will feel amazing. Lower 50s Sunday, upper 50s Monday, and then we're back in the upper 40s Tuesday, upper 50s again as we head towards your Wednesday. For today, lower 50s, partly cloudy and windy, and that west wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. Tonight, upper 20s, mostly clear, and that west breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, low 60s, increasing clouds and breezy, west wind at around 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast. Saturday, even though we have rain, temperatures will be nice with highs in the upper 60s. Easter Sunday looking nice, a partly cloudy sky, highs in the low 50s. And then upper 50s Monday, also under a partly cloudy sky.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda from the Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Dragon Slayer Arcade now has 2 locations inside the Bangor Mall. Dragon Slayer has birthday party packages starting at just $50, which provides you with a designated area for you and your friends, which includes pizza and drinks. Dragon Slayer is all about birthday parties and would love for you to spend your next birthday with us. Give Dragon Slayer a call today to schedule your next birthday party. 860-462-1843.
Central Maine Barns & Sheds, quality products built right here in Newport with a strong attention to detail. We have an incredible selection of pre-made options and would be more than happy to custom build a unit specifically for you. Central Maine Barns & Sheds has financing options available, including a rent-to-own program. We provide free delivery and setup within a 30-mile radius of any of our locations. Check out our full inventory at centralmainbarns.com or call for more information, 368-6177.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda from the Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
This morning, the battle between the White House and the courts is heating up. A judge is now threatening to start a contempt investigation over what he calls a willful disregard of his order to halt deportations to a notorious prison in El Salvador. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with more.
This morning, growing concerns surrounding the deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland husband and father who the administration admits was wrongfully sent to El Salvador. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen now pushing for Abrego Garcia's release.
And the U.S. courts have found that he was illegally taken from the United States, and the government of El Salvador has no evidence that he was part of MS-13. Why is El Salvador continuing to hold him in CECON?
A unanimous Supreme Court ordered the administration to let him return to the U.S. for a due process hearing. But the White House insists he will never live in the United States again and is criticizing the senator's visit.
It's appalling and sad that Senator Van Hollen and the Democrats applauding his trip to El Salvador today are incapable of having any shred of common sense or empathy for their own constituents and our citizens.
Abrego Garcia was living in Maryland after entering the country illegally. The 29-year-old was arrested and deported last month, along with hundreds of other men accused of being gang members. ABC News has learned new details about Abrego Garcia's past. In 2021, his wife obtained a temporary protective order against him, in which she said she was slapped, hit with an object, and detained against her will. The case was later closed, and his wife is now pleading for Abrego Garcia's return. Now, a federal judge is threatening to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt for violating his orders last month to turn around those 2 planes carrying deportees to El Salvador. The White House is vowing to appeal, saying, quote, the president is 100% committed to ensuring that terrorist and criminal illegal migrants are no longer a threat to Americans. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Now to Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. and his new remarks about autism, raising questions and controversy. Here's ABC's Rihanna Nally.
Health Secretary Robert Kennedy is pushing back against the experts who have said higher autism rates in children are largely the result of better detection and broader diagnosis.
The epidemic is real. Only a very, very small portion of it can be charged to better recognition or better diagnostic criteria.
His comments come after the latest report from the CDC showing 1 in every 31 American children are now being diagnosed with autism. Kennedy claimed without evidence that autism is a preventable disease.
This is a preventable disease. Genes do not cause epidemics. They can provide a vulnerability. You need an environmental toxin.
In the past, Kennedy has suggested that the environmental toxin may be the vaccines children get, despite dozens of high-quality studies refuting that claim. Several studies have shown a genetic link to many cases of autism.
60 to 90% of autism risk is genetic, but we also think that environmental factors may play a small role.
Kennedy yesterday claimed that autism destroys families, and he had this to say about the future of those with the disorder.
These are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date.
Autism advocacy groups call those comments disappointing and damaging.
I'm an autistic person. I run an organization staffed entirely by autistic people. The main thing we tell families and we tell autistic people themselves is your life is not hopeless. There are supports out there you can get. Life as an autistic person is good. It can be hard, certainly, but it can also be joyous.
Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Well, meanwhile, the Israeli military is now occupying more than half of Gaza, and they say they're not going anywhere. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz confirms the IDF will not withdraw from areas that have been cleared and captured, saying they'll be used as a buffer zone to protect Israel from Hamas. The Israeli military also says it will continue to block humanitarian aid shipments to Gaza, calling it a pressure tool intended to force Hamas back to the bargaining table. The White House says it's making progress toward a new ceasefire deal, but time is running out for both the hostages and Palestinian civilians. Many say they're starting to lose faith that the fighting will stop and they'll be able to return home. Hamas still hasn't responded to Israel's proposal for a temporary truce in exchange for the release of more hostages.
And coming up on the second half of the newscast, if you're in need of a sweet treat, we have the place for you. A bake sale will be held today in Bangor to fundraise for a good cause.
Love that story, and we'll meet our pet of the week coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Up in Smoke Fireworks is family-owned with a huge selection including Brothers and Showtime, Time Bandit, and Black Hat brands. We will share our knowledge with you, then go have a blast. Up in Smoke Fireworks, 173 West Main Street, Searsport.
The Lucerne Inn and Ryan's Pub is world-renowned for beautiful dining with a delicious view. Come and enjoy the experience of their all-you-can-eat seafood dinner every Friday night, now through April, with award-winning seafood dishes and discounts for seniors and veterans. Call to make your reservation or order for takeout. Treat your taste buds with the flavors of the sea during Seafood Fridays, only at the Lucerne Inn. Beautiful dining with a delicious view.
Up in Smoke Fireworks is family-owned with a huge selection including Brothers and Showtime, Time Bandit, and Black Hat brands. We will share our knowledge with you, then go have a blast. Up in Smoke Fireworks, 173 West Main Street, Searsport.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 17th, 2025. It's also International Bat Appreciation Day.
This is a day to show appreciation to our flying and mostly nocturnal friends. It's also an opportunity to learn the important role bats play in our ecosystem and the biodiversity of our ecosystem. There are over 1,400 species of bats which help to control pests, create rich fertilizer for landowners, and also help to pollinate fruit and flowers. Human activities such as deforestation, mining, and irresponsible tourism have caused a substantial decrease in the bats' population, and that's why it's important to learn why they're so important.
They're so freaky. I think they scare people sometimes the way they look, especially people that grew up watching vampire movies and things like that. But they are so great. When I see them, I think about mosquito eaters.
Right.
Summertime, I love having the bats around.
They are.
Because they can swarm in and take care of all the skeeters.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They are really essential pest control, and I don't even think about how they're also pollinators.
Sure.
So if we were to lose even one species of them, it could be catastrophic for the ecosystem.
Bats are our friends. friends.
Yes.
They're freaky, though.
I think they're cute, so I don't know. Then maybe that's...
Personal thing.
Yes.
All right, time for history. On this day in history, back in 1860, New Yorkers learned about a new law requiring fire escapes to be provided for tenement houses. Ended up saving a lot of lives. 1917, a bill in Congress to establish daylight saving time was defeated. However, it was passed just a couple of months later. 1961, on this date, a force of anti-Castro rebels began the Bay of Pigs invasion in a failed attempt to overthrow Cuba's new communist government. And in 1964, the Ford Motor Company unveiled a new model of car called the Mustang, one of my favorites.
Yeah, right. And those 60s models of the Mustang are so beautiful, too.
Sure are.
In 1969, Sirhan was convicted of killing U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy. I'm not saying his name right, though.
Sirhan.
Yeah. The Palestinian immigrant was sentenced to death by gas chamber. In 1970, the entire world was watching as the crew of Apollo 13 safely returned to Earth. The mission to the moon had to be scrubbed after an explosion aboard the spacecraft nearly ended in disaster. In 1973, FedEx officially began operations and flew 186 packages to 25 cities on the East Coast. And in 1993, a federal jury convicted 2 Los Angeles police officers and acquitted 2 others for the beating of Rodney King. The acquittals touched off race riots in the city that lasted for 6 days. 63 people were killed and hundreds others were injured.
Huge story at the time. Meanwhile, today's birthdays include actress Jennifer Gardner, who is 53 years old today. Spice Girl Victoria Beckham is 51. And actor Sean Bean is 66 years old today. Happy birthday to them and to you too, if today is your birthday.
Yeah. Now let's get a look at that forecast with Devin Biggs.
Hey, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. We have a small crowd advisory that will be expiring this morning as wave heights start to relax. Of course, we'll monitor those in case there is an extension yet again. But meanwhile, on land, not looking too bad this morning. Some clouds passing through, a little bit of moisture as well. Whatever has developed is getting out of here, and we have a nice day on the way. We'll get some sunshine going, maybe a few passing clouds for the afternoon. This is as this wave of energy continues to track to the south and east right about in here, a little bit more further off towards the north. Rest of the northeast looking pretty good. Partly cloudy today, becoming mostly clear later on tonight, and tomorrow looking like a nice start. But as for now, some gusty winds to keep an eye on that can reach up to 25 to even 30 miles per hour. Starting to relax overnight, maybe a few gusts up to 25 miles per hour as we head towards tomorrow. So for today, lower 50s, not bad, partly cloudy and windy, and that west wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. Later on tonight, we have upper 20s, mostly clear, a pretty simple forecast. The wind's backing off temporarily out of the west at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, low 60s. That will feel even better. Increasing clouds, breezy, with that west wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period. Sunshine to start, some clouds for the afternoon. Temperatures warming into the 50s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Greg and Emma.
Thank you, Devin. Well, a special bake sale will be held in Bangor today to help in the fight against Alzheimer's disease. The folks at Winterberry Heights will be hosting an Easter basket raffle and bake sale to support the organization's Walk to End Alzheimer's team. The public is welcome to pick up some delicious treats at the facility on Ohio Street in Bangor from 10 until 3 o'clock. You can also enter for a chance to win Easter baskets in time for the Easter Sunday holiday. All the proceeds will go directly to the Alzheimer's Association to help with critical research, advocacy, and support for individuals and families affected by the disease.
So very important. So a lot of Mainers have been touched by Alzheimer's disease, including myself, who have lost some family members, and this is a sweet way to help support that effort to fight it.
I think you got to do a public service as well, right?
I did. I got to sample some of the treats last night. Somebody that baked some cookies for it.
And they're Craig approved?
Oh boy, they were good, really good. They had some, one of them was a molasses cookie, one of my favorite.
Those are some of my
My mom
favorite.
makes the world's best molasses cookies, but
underrated cookie.
They were right up in there. With
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you said coffee cake too?
I had some coffee cake. I had a little peanut butter cookie, and
Craig, I'm gonna have to
some,
go,
Some
like,
kind
right
of
now.
cookie with one of those big Hershey Kisses too. It
I
was
love
so good.
those.
Yeah, it was good. It was It was a great dessert.
Okay. It's a
my
good
part.
fundraiser.
Yeah.
Okay, we're hungry. Right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have our sports updates.
Go to Winterberry Heights, buy
Yes.
some cookies.
Yes.
A third row that feels like first class. How it should be. The Hyundai Palisade.
Lease a Hyundai Palisade for $369 a month for 36 months. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Happy birthday! Did you know the best time to sign up for Medicare is 3 months before or after your 65th birthday? Medicare can be confusing. Let Senior Planning Center help you through the Medicare maze. See why thousands of Mainers have turned to Senior Planning Center for help securing a good Medicare plan. With locations and agents all over Maine, Senior Planning Center is here to help you. Call 207-223-6565 today to speak with a licensed agent with no obligation to enroll.
You live in vacation land, right? Then get out and vacation, why don't you? And do it in style by renting an RV from Maine Campo Rentals. Fully furnished, fully insured, ready to roll out and explore. Or maybe you have relatives visiting you. Save your marriage, save the hotel expense, put them up in an affordable RV from Maine Campo Rentals. We'll deliver to Acadia and local campgrounds too. Call or visit online at MaineCampoRentals.com. Put away that cell phone and discover vacation land with Maine Campo Rentals in Brewer.
American-made Home Goods, a locally owned gift shop offering only American-made items, manufactured right here in the USA. At AMHG Works, we have books written by Maine authors, jewelry, wall decor, puzzles, and many other Maine-themed items, plus a great selection of dog toys, treats, and accessories. Come check out everything we have to offer. We look forward to seeing you.
Deep in the heart of Alabama is the home of chaos and chance. The Jack Links 500 from Talladega, April 27th on Fox.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We'll start with some hockey. After a terrific first professional season, former Maine Black Bear Bradley Nadeau hearing some good news this week. On Tuesday, the Carolina Hurricanes making some roster moves, calling up the former Black Bear star to the NHL ranks for the remaining 2 games of the regular season while they rest players for the playoffs. It will be his second stint at the pro level, but it could be something he gets used to. Bradley having an incredible season at just 19 years old, leading the Chicago Wolves with 30 goals and tying for the team lead with 56 points. He was named to the AHL All-Rookie team, and he is just the 3rd AHL rookie under 20 years old with 30 goals in the last 50 years. That comes as a surprise to no one up here. Let's stay with some hockey now. The Bruins 2024 and 25 season coming to a close on Tuesday night with a 5-4 overtime loss to the New Jersey Devils at home at TD Garden. Boston finishes the year in line for a top 10 pick in this year's NHL draft lottery. With a 33, 39, and 10 record and 76 points, Boston is tied for last in the Eastern Conference and knotted with a few teams for the 4th worst record in the league. It's their first time missing the playoffs since 2016, but to take a silver lining out of the season, David Pastrnak had a tremendous year with over 100 points, and he really stepped into a leadership role after Brad Marchand was traded. Here's what interim head coach Joe Sacco had to say on the growth of his star.
Well, yeah, I think David's taken a good step in the right direction as far as, his leadership qualities. He's had a lot of good people to look up to over the years. I think David did a really nice job of balancing out his game, staying in tune with his game, and then obviously helping in the room.
Moving on to the softball diamond now. For the last 4 years, Husson Softball has represented the North Atlantic Conference in the NCAA tournament, and the Eagles are off to another hot start this spring. Husson is in the midst of a 5-game winning streak right as NAC play is set to begin. They play their first conference games on Friday, hosting Thomas College in a doubleheader. The Eagles say they've figured things out in non-conference portion of the schedule, and they are feeling good heading into conference play.
I think we're feeling really confident. I mean, we've had a lot of practice time, a lot of reps coming in, and we've had a really challenging start to the season. Florida we didn't come home with the winning percentage that we wanted, but we got to face the tough teams, we got to face adversity, and I think we're feeling stronger than ever now.
I think we feel great. We've faced a lot of good competition and a lot to come. We have 16 more games to go, so just taking it day by day, game by game, I think we're ready to go.
And Hassan is just like the last 4 years. The Eagles have several ways to win on the diamond. In the circle, their 2 starters have a sub-3 earned run average, and on offense, they've got 6 hitters batting over 300, and it's that balance that is going to carry them through the rest of the season.
Our pitching has really found its way around. We've learned how to adjust to the hitter, and on the opposite side of it, when we're hitting, we've learned how to adjust to pitchers. We've learned how to timely hits, scoring people when we need to, and just getting the job done.
We always try to take it just like batter by batter, because you never know who's up behind you. Just doing your job as a hitter, and then knowing like if I get on base, the person behind me is probably going to score me is pretty nice, and it's a good relief right there.
They play Plymouth State in a doubleheader on Thursday. Staying on the diamond now, it's been a great stretch of baseball for the University of Maine. They're in action on Wednesday, looking for their 6th straight win. The Beavers from UMaine Farmington coming up to Orono to take on the Black Bears for a midweek tune-up. Maine up 4-0 in the second, but the Beavers have a man on, and Tyler Rosa rockets one to right. The throw home, it's going to get cut off, and Nate Coombs slides in with the run. It is 4-1, but the Black Bears buckled down. Vaughn Larissa gets out of the inning with a nasty strikeout for the 3rd out. To the 3rd now, same score. Peyton Whitehead at the dish for Maine with a runner on, and he blasts one deep to left field. That ball is back, and it is gone. Maine takes a 6-1 lead. Miles Sargent at the dish now, same inning. He's got some runners on, and he puts a single through the left side. Kayla Vacciano comes home to score from second. Maine, they go on to win big 17-1 in 7 innings. Finally, to the hardwood now, the NBA playoffs beginning this weekend for the defending champion Boston Celtics, who look for their first back-to-back title since the Bill Russell era in 1969. The Celtics will be taking on the Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Game 1 is Sunday afternoon right here on ABC7 at 3:30. Game 2 is on Wednesday at 7 p.m. And then the Celtics head to Orlando for games 3 and 4. Those are Friday and Sunday, both at 7 p.m. This could be a very tough opening round matchup for the Celtics. Orlando took 2 of 3 from Boston during the regular season, but more alarming is the health of Celtics star forward Jaylen Brown. He's been bothered by a right knee injury of late, recently receiving pain management injections to deal with said injury, but the Celtics, they don't seem to be too concerned about JB, at least not right now.
He's out here putting in the work and trying to get himself ready to go, and he understands what's in front of us, and I know that mentally he's going to be in a good place. Nobody's worried about him. We all know that he wants to be out on the court every time we play, but we also know he's going to be prepared when the time comes.
Really looking forward for some Celtics playoff basketball. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
At Ellsworth IV Infusion and Wellness, we are here to help you look and feel your best, inside and out. Jumpstart your health journey with medical weight loss and rejuvenate your wellness with nutritional IV infusions. Renew your skin with facials or relax with soothing massage therapy.
America relies on clean, renewable energy. It powers everything, from families to small businesses, from farmers to factories. Clean energy fuels lives and livelihoods. And clean energy tax credits make it happen. They create hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs across the country, and they lower our energy costs. With clean energy tax credits, the age of American energy independence is here. Call Senator Collins and encourage her to support the clean energy tax credits that power America.
Ugh, I need new wipers. RockAuto.com. That was easy. That was fast.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
Treat yourself to rich Ghirardelli chocolate and luscious caramel. Experience Ghirardelli caramel squares in a bag and a bar. Makes life a bite better.
Winter is a time to get outside and enjoy all that Maine has to offer. And when it's time to come inside, rest assured everything's toasty because of your Fujitsu heat pump from Valley Home Services. The comfort and warmth of home means more on days like these. Push a button and you'll be snuggling up on the couch in no time. Valley Home Services offers reliable rebates, significant energy savings, and expert installation. Embrace the comfort of Fujitsu heat pumps from Valley Home Services. Call or click today.
At Ellsworth IV Infusion and Wellness, we are here to help you look and feel your best, inside and out. Jumpstart your health journey with medical weight loss and rejuvenate your wellness with nutritional IV infusions. Renew your skin with facials or relax with soothing massage therapy.
The Pet of the Week, brought to you by First National Bank. Are you ready to turn your dreams into reality? Look no further than First National Bank, your genuine Maine community bank.
Welcome back, everyone. Now it's time to meet our Pet of the Week, Catherine Ravenscraft, joining us once again from Bangor Humane Society. And I think Emma is in love.
Yes.
I think the puppy's certainly in love with you.
Look at this little guy. This is the smallest little guy ever.
He is. He's teeny tiny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, how old is he?
I believe he's probably around 10 weeks, 10 or 11 weeks.
Yep.
And you can tell by the size of his paws, he's not going to get very big. I'm guessing, I should have looked it up, I'm sorry, but I'm guessing 20, 25 pounds tops for this guy. And that might be overreaching, I'm not sure. Yeah.
What kind of dog is he? I haven't heard of it before.
This dog is called a Basenji, and they are bred out of the Congo region in Africa. That's where they got their start. The AKC, though, categorizes them as hound dogs because they are hunters. So they've been bred to hunt. My guess is I know. My guess is like a rat terrier type of hunter, like little things. Yeah, exactly. And for that reason, they are, as you pointed out, incredibly smart. This is definitely a smart little guy. And so they need a lot of training and consistency. He's really small, he's really cute, and he's really going to be a handful as he gets bigger. Yeah, look at him.
One of those situations of you're lucky, you're cute.
It's true. It's true. So, he totally sees himself right now in that monitor. That is crazy.
I know. Look at him. He's starstruck by himself. He's like, I am cute.
It's true. You are.
You are such a good boy. Are you going to be naughty?
Boy, he has just fallen for Emma ever since he came here. He's been right into her.
Exactly. She turned to walk away, and he was like, "Oh, I'll go with you. That looks good. I'll go that way."
Oh, do you need a leader?
Look at that. Oh.
So, I mean, we also commented he's been really quiet since we got here, but that's probably not true to his nature, right?
It isn't. So, from what I understand, they have a very specific sound that they make that's been dubbed a baroo, and it's spelled B-A-R-O-O. And so they do tend to get noisy, as I was pointing out. When he's snuggling with you, he's very content and very happy. But when he's alone in his kennel, he is the saddest boy, and he gives a baroo. Yeah, so he's probably going to be a little bit noisy for the first little while, especially when he's left alone. Yeah.
Oh, that can be a problem sometimes if you're an apartment dweller.
Exactly.
So that's good to know.
Yeah. Fortunately, though, he's so small that it's not very loud.
Let me climb away from you just for a second. I want people to see how little he is.
He's just the littlest guy. Look at him.
Look how tiny he is. Hey,
that's actually perfect.
Yeah.
And they're actually known as well for having sort of more aloof cat-like personalities, and they clean themselves like cats do. So
don't show your bum on camera.
It won't be what? That's the best part.
Here, I'll give him back to Emma. There you go.
Okay, you're just showing off his assets and giving
Sorry.
them back to me.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
So he's cat-like. That's funny. Maybe that's why we're gravitating towards each other right now.
Yes, exactly, because you're a cat lover.
Yes,
so
he's
reading it. Yeah. So he probably will be very loyal to one person or specifically his family.
Right.
Yeah.
Some call it high maintenance, but that's okay.
It's all right.
Me too, friend.
As long as you're ready for it, and that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Sometimes the high maintenance people and pets go together really well.
I would say that's true. Yeah. There's a book called Your Dog Is Your Mirror. It's the truth. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Catherine, for bringing this little bundle in today. What a beautiful little dog. Hopefully somebody out there will have room in their house for this little puppy, or maybe one of the little kitties or doggies over at the Humane Society.
Yeah, we have quite a few dogs. Please come take a look.
Yeah. Oh, all right. We'll send it over to Devin Biggs for our full weather forecast.
Look at that face.
Good job, buddy.
Alrighty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. On this Thursday, a small craft advisory will be expiring at 8 a.m. as wave heights look to improve. Of course, we'll watch in case they do extend those again, and they might because wave heights are still a little bit active at this point. 3-foot wave heights right about in here, but further off towards the north and east, still a little bit active, and higher further out towards sea at around 7 to 8 feet, according to the buoys at this time. On land, a little bit of moisture passing through this morning, and some clouds as well, tracking to the south and east. Overall today, we'll be under a partly cloudy sky, so a good amount of sunshine that we get to look forward to. But here's that energy that's tracking northeast that's been bringing us to clouds and maybe a little bit of moisture. We'll have some dry weather before a little bit more action off towards the west starts to move in our direction. But for now, we're looking quiet moving forward outside of some gusty winds. So partly cloudy for us today, becoming mostly clear later on tonight, so things look rather quiet. And then for tomorrow, not looking too bad. We'll have increasing clouds, winds picking up to about 25 miles per hour. Maybe some late day to the evening showers. I think for the day Friday, we're good. It's by Friday evening and parts of Saturday, we'll have opportunities for rain showers on the way. Better opportunities by Saturday morning for some rain that will be passing through. Of course, we'll be watching gusty winds that can reach up to about 25 to 30 miles per hour at times. We'll back off a bit later on tonight. But then as we head towards tomorrow, here we go again. More gusty winds up to around 20 to even 25 miles per hour. Temperatures recently have been up and down. So yesterday we only hit 50 degrees. That's actually 4 degrees below normal. We've had more days below normal than not, but we'll work on that rather soon. Average high temperature is 54 degrees. We'll be below normal again in the lower 50s. And then we really warm up. Lower 60s as we head towards your Friday, and then upper 60s for your Saturday. So a couple of days that will feel amazing. Lower 50s Sunday, upper 50s Monday, and then we're back in the upper 40s Tuesday, upper 50s again as we head towards your Wednesday. For today, lower 50s, partly cloudy and windy, and that west wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. Tonight, upper 20s, mostly clear, and that west breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, low 60s, increasing clouds and breezy, west wind at around 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast. Saturday, even though we have rain, temperatures will be nice with highs in the upper 60s. Easter Sunday looking nice, a partly cloudy sky, highs in the low 50s. And then upper 50s Monday, also under a partly cloudy sky.
Get moving this spring with comfortable, functional footwear from Comfort Shoes and More. From tailored fittings to shoe modifications and custom orthotics, their team of experts are trained in Podorthics and will help you find the perfect fit. From running to walking, casual or dress, you'll find today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Ariat, Merrell, and more. Don't let your feet hold you back from doing the things you love. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at EatonPaving.com.
Make Easter moments magical with the Gold Bunny from Lindt.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snowblowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
25 words or less.
I, Tarzan. You,
Jane.
Boom.
Every weekday.
You said that like you've said that before.
Look, what my wife and I do is our business.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
double rainbow is spotted arching over the sky over Rhode Island on Tuesday night. It happened after a gloomy weekend in the area. It was a full arc double rainbow, which is rare. When they do occur, it's typically early in the morning or late in the day, when the sun is at a lower point in the sky and there are light rain showers in the area. Look at that.
Also, 2 pots of gold if you have one of those too.
I know,
so
I know.
it's a
but
rare
don't let
thing.
the secret get out.
Yeah, that's beautiful, like a postcard.
Yeah, I've driven over that bridge. Newport, Rhode Island is a really pretty place. Reminds me of Maine.
Very neat. Boy, that little puppy sure does love you.
That made me sad. I didn't want to think about it. He
Hey,
looked to be like,
where are you going,
Right
lady?
away. Yeah.
I want to come with you.
He'll get adopted very quickly.
Yeah, he won't last long.
Yeah.
So.
All right, it does look like we're running out of time, though. If you missed anything, you can head to foxbangor.com.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Today on 25 Words or Less, a great new talent with a bright future ahead of her. What? This intro must be at least 30 years old. It's Melissa Peterman. And joining Melissa are church friends Larry and Leanne. As far as mononymous celebrities go, he's above Bono but below Beyonce. It's Headcrack. And joining him are our returning champions, married couple Kimberly and Jason. And now here's your host, Meredith Vieira.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less. Hello, kids. Hey. Headcrack, 2 things. One, do people, I have to keep saying to myself, it's Headcrack, not Crackhead.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
You know, I give people adult onset dyslexia when they see my name, because a lot of people go straight to that. However, I've never
touches something about me, probably. For
never
sure.
touched the stuff in my life.
Yeah. Well, you have 4 boys. That's a lot of stinky socks in your home.
Well, you know, I have